Hi, welcome back. It's Laura at Hyperstamper. I'm going to show you today's vintage junk journal, which is with a book that I don't normally use, this kind of book, but I made an exception because I just think it's a really, really pretty vintage cover. So before I get started, again, reminders, you can see all of my journals at hyperstamper.etsy.com. And everything I ship out is done by courier, not postal. So there's no delays, and there are no tariffs. If you're an American customer, there are no tariffs on my products. They are exempt. So I would now like to show you this beautiful journal. I did have to expand the spine because these books have a teeny tiny little spine. So I took that off and expanded it so I could put in all of these wonderful, authentic, vintage and antique pages inside. A lot of the inserts I've added are bird themed. So let's have a look. This is a 1961 book, one of the Wonder Books. Beautiful blue jay and her little babies there. Now what I've done here is something I don't normally do. I re-entered all of the entire book because there weren't a lot of pages, but they're so beautiful. I really wanted to keep them with their original book because they're sweet. And so that is the entire book here. And then I put the journal behind it. So let's have a little look. This actually has some value. You can check that out on eBay. This is a German publication about birds, and it's really wonderful. So even though it is in German, if you don't speak German, you can have an awful lot of fun with the images in here, and it's really spectacular and collectible. This is just a really sweet vintage photo from 1949. There is a mom and her son out in the yard. Maybe they're bird watching. You can see that I pulled that right out of an old photo album, still on its black paper. That is a 1960s children's school book page. And I made this tri-pocket here. We've got vintage snaps on here, which I just love snaps. Snap cards are just so fun. The artwork on them is usually spectacular. And this is a 1930s Beatrix Potter double-sided plate. There's a little bird there and the two little bunnies, and there's two more of her, Beatrix's beautiful bunnies. And then this is a 1970s receipt, still with the carbon paper attached, so you can have some fun with that, with your journaling. And I'll slip that back in here. It's all on top of a vintage map. And this is a 1920s 100-year-old needlework page. And this pocket is made out of a vintage postcard. And this here, I love that it has the little tab here. It says woodpeckers on it. Isn't that great? And on the other side, there's these flycatchers. So just a beautiful, beautiful little vintage piece here. And put that back in here. Just a really cool dictionary page. And this is from the 60s as well. This is another vintage postcard with more birds. Flamingos, which people in Canada are just fascinated by them. Obviously, we don't have those here. And there's a flip side of those. Philadelphia is on this side, the Sunoco map. And fun cluster down here. And this is from 1904. That is a beaut. And look at the wonderful calligraphy on there. It's just fabulous. I love it. And then this is another vintage Birds of America page here. Lovely, lovely page that you can do more clusters with. And that's all mounted on top of another one of those 1960 schoolbook pages. This one's about space. And then we've got a 1950s authentic bingo card there that you can journal on the back of or do some upcycling with. I've seen people make these into a little cover of a mini journal, so you could have fun doing that. And here's a plate from an early 1900s book. That is Stockholm. And this is a 1940s children's book page. And then this here's just a fun little piece. You know I collect feathers because I do love bird watching. So I've got a beautiful dove feather here. And then do you know what kind of feather this and this is? Well, this one is a hawk. And this one is a blue jay. That is the blue jay's feather. Is that great? So you can enjoy those. I hope. I love sharing them. I'm lucky when I find a blue jay feather because they're not easy to find, but they are beautiful. And then this is a wonderful 1950s magazine page. Look at her outfit. Don't we all dress like that when we do housework? A little story on the back. And I made this fun little pocket here out of an antique music sheet. And this is a 1937 5-year diary page. So you would have put, every year you would put your little notes on that one little space there. But I think that's really fun. And this is a 1944 Theater Arts magazine cover. Now that is the cover, and you have to remember that this was closing in on the end of the war, and these theater troops would go overseas. This is theater for men overseas, and entertain the troops. So this is a very special edition. And actually, do you remember the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz was Ray Bolger? So we've got his name down here, and there's an article on this one about him, and just really great advertisements on both sides of that. So I didn't want to cover them. This is a beautiful piece here that is worthy of framing. Look at that. The wandering couple arrive at the holly tree. It's just wonderful. That's a Charles Dickens stories book page from the early 1900s, actually from 1900. Turn of the century. And this is a 1955 postcard here, the American redstart bird. And yeah, I'm trying to get as many bird things in here, mixed in with lots of other fun historic pieces like this one. This one is from another antique book. And look down here, we've got the little bird in the cage, and they are taking the bird to Eugenie. I just love that. And then we've got this fun little 1940s baby card. So it opens here to you and the baby, and then opens again, and then opens again. Is that great? I love it. I know this is silly, but I even love the old staple marks. I'm a nerd that way. This is pressed flour that I added in, and I really like it. It's super thick and sturdy, and wow, I wish I had pressed a million of them, but I didn't think it would press very well. And lo and behold, it did. This is from that wonderful honeymoon scrapbook that I have from 1937, and there is the poet Longfellow. That's his house. And this is Trinity Church in Boston. Another handwritten early 1900s thesis page. There's another 1930s, really different kind of artwork, but that's what I love about it. It's not typical, but it's beautiful. The cuckoo bird there. And then this is a great page out of the Paris, France Almanac from 1932, and I just love this advertisement. Isn't that great? Free. This is wonderful. And then this, of course, is another page from the 1940s. Who wants to run away and join the circus? Vintage botanical book. And this is great from 1951, a cheerleader page. Isn't she awesome? Look at, they really did have those. It's just so great. The lettering on the sweater, it's absolutely wonderful. The girls' athletic executive. And then in here, I've got this great antique piece here. That's Queen Elizabeth. No, that is not. Yes, it is Queen Elizabeth I. And then antique paper on the back. And the pocket here is made out of a vintage children's book. And these are antique typed up research papers, 1886. And I just love the discoloration of them. But I thought you could do some fun things with it, or just journal on the backs and fronts of them. If nothing else, they're just fun to have. This is an early 1900s nature book page. And this is from a game, well, an educational game, finding the dots, the written word, and the numeric for 11. And then in this little pocket, I've got this vintage little card here with the little elves on it from Stacy. And then this is from Paige, a Milmar coupon. Love it! And then I made this out of an antique book cover that was very plain, and quite destroyed. So I turned it into a journaling tag and added some antique paper to it for interest and to make it spectacular. And then this is really cool. This is the back cover of a huge magazine. Look at these glamour girls, wowie zowie, and that is for hand knits. And then on this side, we've got this wonderful advertisement for all different sewing projects that you can do. And that is from 1960, actually. So probably published and written up in the late 1950s. So here we've got an 1887 Chatterbox page. Look at the two little boys goofing around together. And then this beautiful daffodil here from The Princess and the Fairy book, just beautiful. And another Sweet Peas page here. This is from an early 1900s bird book, black and white, and I just love that it's a parakeet. And this is from the book Daisy. It was turned into a journal a while back, but this was the inside plate, which was exactly like the cover, so I didn't mind too much separating them. And there's the bottom of the cheerleader there. And I love this antique book page, Make Room for Joy. That just makes me so happy, especially inside a journal. And this was a page from an English school book. And when the first king, that King George, God Save the King, not the first king, but the first king of the 19th century. And then we have Concord Bridge here. And that is from an antique book as well, with space to journal on the back too. And this is just a really beautiful piece here. Isn't that great? From a Girl's Own Annual. And this is another 1940s fun little children's book page, 1950s doily book. And this is from a book that I just did this week. And this was one of the inside cover pages. And you can certainly journal in the back of that. But look at that beautiful Victorian dress. Actually, it's more Edwardian or Georgian, pre-Victoria. And then this is a 1930s stick and book page, which is just fun. The little children there looking in the store window, and some child has cut this out and pasted it down in the matching spot. I love this bread basket doily. That's fabulous, from the 50s. And then this is from 1959. This wonderful stucco book as well, Education. And this one has these gorgeous birds on it. So I thought it belonged in here. And we've got walruses and seals on the other side. And the pocket here is made from an 1890s book page. And then we've got this wonderful strawberry dessert here. I always think of my friend Stacy when I see strawberry desserts. And that is from the 1950s. Not so good, though. I don't know if that looks appetizing. I think it's a ring of peas, I think. Or maybe it's blueberries. Let's pretend it's blueberries. And then we've got another great children's book page here. And then this is a beautiful vintage Trees of America book. And look at this gorgeous weeping willow here. And then inside I've added some journaling space and a little hidden pocket in here with two gorgeous vintage cards. This one is beautiful with the gold on it. And then this one is a game card, Payday from the 60s. So you can just have lots of fun. Be creative. Think outside the box. And then on here we have just this really fun 1940s How to Raise Your Children page. And this is a little girl who broke a plate and she's really quite upset. And I think, what does it say here? Accidents are their own punishments. That is a true story. And that brings us to the end. So I hope you love it as much as me. Hyperstamper.etsy.com, and come back soon.